Hello folks, Hot Rod Rodney 25, aka Out of Scale Railroad, coming back with another video. If you watched my first video, you noticed that I did not talk into the video. There's a reason for that. Because of the title of the video. Rest in peace, Prestonburg area mountain. The mountain has been tore up. I kept coming down here every time I had a chance, and I just kept looking and looking and looking at it. It just didn't look right. So here is the name of this, or this is going to be a fresh video, or Prestonburg area series, minor changes, or whatever you want to call it, series 2. This is what the new mountain is looking like so far. You can see I glued the old rock cuts that used to be back there in the what was the campsite rail trail, and the old tunnel has been replaced with a new one, a longer one, to give it a little more depth. There's a bigger area back here now. I can put like picnic tables and stuff like that in if I wanted to. So I don't know how well that's showing up the darkness, but there's the end of the tunnel. And I'll eventually get around to the back part, guys. The cardboard's just gonna, I guess, be there until I get to this area. When I, put the ground cover back down and all that. I cleaned it all up real good and started gluing all this last night. And I had the webbing and all that done today. The rest of it from last night, I did the rest today. I filled in some big spots with some strip cardboard. I glued some rock croppings, or in this case, driveway stone. And what is that going to do? I'm going to take and put plaster cloth over top of them. And then I'm going to start my main plaster cloth going up from the bottom up. That way, the seams are overlapping like a roof, like roof shingles. But I'm probably going to put the pieces on top of these rocks first to help bond them, because the hot glue does not hold the stone real tight, which I already knew from trying to do this project. They fell apart and I had to use liquid nails. I did not use liquid nails on this for the simple fact that I wanted to get the stone done and have them dry quicker with hot glue. Once I put the plaster cloth over it and get in, some of the nooks and crannies and everything, all of it will bond once the plaster cloth bonds to the cardboard. The hairy strings of the hot glue, I'm not going to worry about. It'll all get covered up. It's not going to hurt anything. That space there and these couple spaces here ain't that big. I stuffed some old pieces of foam in underneath some of that because it's actually a lower space along here. Once I get the plaster cloth on right here, I'm going to build this up with some more stone so far, and then, you know, put ground cover and, well, paint the rock croppings first, you know, with burnt umber and burnt Sierra and all them good colors. Then I'll paint the mountain a couple different colors. Probably give it some ground cover. More than likely sand and recycled coffee grounds. Well, it might be a little bit of coffee grounds, but it's mostly sand and race car dirt that had came out of the old mountain when I shook it real lightly, and the chunks of dirt and everything that was glued and dried up in clumps, I put in this blender, ground it all up, put it through a sifter, and there's the results. I've got recycled ground cover to reuse. So, and you can see it might have a little bit of foam pieces, but I think it's mostly green sand. I don't know if that's showing up green or not it don't look like it, but there's some green sand and some black sand, and I believe mostly race car dirt, and maybe just little pieces of foam, and maybe a little bit of coffee grounds, and whatever other stuff that might have been on the old mountain that I used originally for the ground cover. I will build this rock wall up some to fill all this mess in, and try to build, you know, some walls here, and I'm gonna put a piece of foam or something, I think, here as a wall, where they can, you know, I don't know, I might put some kind of lettering or something on it, maybe even a welcome to Prestonburg rail trail sign or something, as they come in, you know, across the bicycle, baby stroller, wheelchair path, if I would make a parking lot out here or something. This is basically for bicyclists and strollers, and, you know, stuff like that. And over here would be the actual traffic path. That way the bicyclists ain't over here getting ran over by pedestrian, or, you know, motorists. But I took that off in one piece, that one off in one piece. It was all glued to pieces of foam, and I just, you know, took my putty knife real carefully and pried the liquid nails up. It came up actually easy. So I hot glued it in a couple different places just to get it, you know, moving. It's actually solid, which I'm surprised. Once I get the plastic, or, you know, the plaster cloth and stuff up against it, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I may just, you know, run a bead of liquid nails or something down along the bottom of that later on. But that's pretty much it for this video. This is going to be a new beginning for Prestonburg on the layout. I guess I just needed a different look. The old mountain came off. I took and cut with a utility knife up here, right along the pieces of cardboard, through the foam and everything that I had up there, and just hacked it off and pulled up on it, and it came off as a whole big unit. I put it in, kept my piece that would go here. Let me see if I can get this. I'm sorry about the shakiness, guys. Just wanted to get this video in here. But it'll go in something like that to help cover and bring my tunnel back. I'm thinking it's going to look pretty good once I get, that in there. It'll help cover some of this stuff up. I'm going to put a wall up along the edge of that, but not the whole way back. Because I want to be able to leave it open this time and have a little more room for the train and different stuff. And I'll just fill this part where my hand is holding this up. All that big space right there will be filled in with a piece of foam and still have clearance for the train. And I'm going to try to make that piece of foam that I put in there to help support this, I'm going to try to make it removable. That way if I have a derailment, rather than trying to reach back, and get you back on camera here, rather than trying to reach around the corner right here where my hand is in there all the time, and I need to get both hands in there or something, then I can remove the piece of foam right here and get any derails. That way I ain't reaching over and knocking other stuff over and so forth. So that's my plan. It's been known to change, but I kind of like this idea, to bring it back to having something old or original that I had in there that I built by hand with just pieces of foam stacked. It makes it look like long pieces of boulder or rock or beam or whatever you want to call it. I did all that with a utility knife. I think it always looked good to me, but it's not the best way to probably carve foam, but it works. All that'll be, covered up by hopefully the wall part. But this still fits in here like that, right into the foam. It's just not in there the whole way. But then that'll set right here on somewhere on the cardboard or plaster cloth, and I'll cut the wall around it. That way it'll slip in there, and I'll be able to, figure up a way to probably glue it, more than likely, to hold it in there, and then I'll make the piece eventually for under here that's removable. But that's about it for this video, guys. The rest of Prestonburg, let me move my temporary work table, piece of plywood, move it out of the way and show you over here. This will probably stay the same. That way we still have a peekaboo pass through area behind the river, or the small river. I don't know if I'm going to leave these sidings in here. I'm still on the decision with myself on that one. I'm still, in the thinking works of it. It's going to be a lot of work to tear them out, but more than likely I will not put all of them back in if I tear them all out. I may tear the 4 switches out, leave the fifth one that's a manual back there, and put one long track in and put some kind of industrial back in there. Maybe even the orange juice building that I built, I might put that out here along the front track in the back of it or something. Or maybe even the Swift building that I showed on a video. I may put that there because I'm getting a few more Swift cars. And I know Sparky will be jealous on that one, because he's been collecting the Swift cars too. But I've got some, and there's a few more coming from eBay, and they should be here tomorrow, I'm thinking, along with a couple other packages. I did get a package today in the mail. I will do a separate mail call video on that soon. And when the other stuff come, I will do those mail call series videos. But for now, guys, that's going to be it. Hope you enjoyed this video. And like, share, subscribe, comment in the section down below. And to the next video, Hot Rod Rodney 25, aka Out of Scale Railroad, out.